And now, this week's edition of Big Face with your host, Samantha Jane Tilton.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Face. I'm your host, Sammy Jane Tilton, and my guest today, casting director, voiceover teacher, and also producer and writer, Andy Roth.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Good to be here.
I didn't even want to express until I got to really talk to you. I am so happy to see your face.
I am so happy to see your face, and hopefully in 3D soon. Hopefully when this is over, we can actually be in a real room together. But it's great to see you this way.
It's great to see you this way.
So,
where are you right now? I love this background. I just said that before we started.
I'm just playing poker with the dogs. We all have a little time. I'm actually out in Jersey. I have a place out here in the woods. Yeah, and that is where I come to hang out and try to relax as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's nice that you have a place in the woods.
Love it. I love it. And right now, right behind the computer, it's there's snow on the ground. There's a little river running. It's just super pretty. So
that's my heaven. It's so being in New York. So guys, we're in New York. That's how we know each other. And it's weird, man. It's weird. And it's like, I have a studio apartment and it's just, I hardly ever leave here.
I know. It's crazy. I have a place in New York too. And it's, it's like, I love the city. I absolutely love the city. Favorite place in the world. But yeah, it can be, for a place that's so densely packed, it can feel really lonely right now.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just not the New York we knew. I mean, everything, I've gone to the city like a couple of times for a doctor. And other than that, I drove through and everything's boarded up and it's just, it's crazy.
We'll come back.
We'll come back. Yep.
We'll be stronger.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yep. And till then, we'll just keep supporting the local businesses.
Yep.
And,
I've been ordering so much food. So
I don't even want to talk about it.
I know. I'm like, but somebody made me feel better because I'm like, it's tough because I feel bad and I just keep ordering food. And they were like, you should feel good about that. Like you're supporting local business. And I was like, all right, gaining weight, but supporting local business.
That's right. I'm going to wear it with pride.
Yes.
Every extra pound. I did this for you, local business.
This is my sacrifice. This is my gift.
That's right. This is part of my New York Strong. Wait.
Okay. So guys, I know Andy through casting, but then I also got to, at one of the acting studios that, I'm a reader for and Andy works at and I work at, I got to be in his class to be a host, which is like kind of just for your class. I feel like you're like golden, so you don't really even need a host, but to take attendance and stuff because Andy's like on top of everything. But
I can always use help.
Everybody can always use help. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about, I don't really have anything so specific, but I wanted to say to you, being in your class, you have such a way of saying what's pretty common sense, right? Like we all know we should not care what other people think or whatever the case may be, but you say it in a way that like clicks and it's so inspiring and it just goes like, boom. Like it's like you say things in a way that I've never heard them.
Oh, thank you.
Or I've never fully taken in. Yeah, I know.
Pressure. Well, and that ends now. Thank you.
You just clam up and can't say anything.
I'm gonna do a lot of this now. I'm gonna be like,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. That's sweet.
I mean it. I think of you often, like, and my boyfriend does a lot of voices and stuff, and for his podcast, and I've been telling him that you're the class that he should take for quite some time. And
Uh,
until, but you're doing it online, right? So you're teaching during this
yeah.
time.
Yep. I've been doing a lot through Zoom, which I actually didn't want to do in the beginning. Like, when,
Yeah.
because it was starting to happen before everything closed down anyway.
Yep.
People were doing online classes, and I had been approached about it. And I was like, there's no way, I'd rather be in a room with a person.
Yeah.
It's really more the way it works. Um, but I very quickly came to love it.
Mm.
Um, it's very, very personal in a different way, in a way that I didn't expect, which teaches me maybe I should be a little more open-minded about some things. Um, but I get to actually work with people in their personal space, which is a whole
Mm.
different dynamic rather than somebody being in my room or a room that somebody has put me in.
Hmm.
Right now, everybody's working from home.
Right.
So the space that they can take the class in is the space that they're actually going to be working in. And so much of this is not
Wow.
just getting comfortable with what you do, it's getting comfortable with your ability to do it, getting comfortable with where you're doing it, what to do after you've done it as far as editing goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that Zoom has brought me closer to that. In some ways, it's more work
It's a lot of,
because,
yeah.
yeah. And on Zoom, like, everybody uses cell phone voice. When you're talking to somebody and suddenly so it immediately it doubles all the energy, that I put out
It's
there.
very,
But
it's very true though.
yeah, it is everybody's yeah, it's like, no, I'm right here.
I,
There's
because
a
there's like
microphone right here.
right here, but there's like some people's like lag is different, and then
Hmm.
it's well put, the cell phone voice. It's
Yeah.
just like, no, totally.
Yeah. And you get that equivalent of, that speaking equivalent of when both of you're trying to step out of each other's way,
Yes.
but you get that dance. You have like the vocal equivalent of, oh no, wait, no, you were gonna no, oh, okay, wait, no, you
That's
talk. Wait,
exactly.
okay.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
I, it's like I feel like, yeah, I've been
Hmm.
teaching class on Zoom, and like I have people do material, but it's what, like, even when people are each other's readers,
Right.
it's tough because there is like the lag, and if you have it on speaker view, that's like
Hmm.
takes a second, they can't see each other. It's just like
Right.
it's a lot.
That's great. But it's great that we can still connect with it, and we're getting
Thank
used to it.
God.
Yeah, and it is a good thing because this is, entertainment is a very sticky business. It's very slow to change as much as we don't want to think of it that way. Technologically and all that, it's very slow to change as far as techniques and things like that goes. But once it's forced to, it does it very quickly, and it doesn't change back so fast, if at all. So I think Zoom is here to stay. I think working from home is here to stay. I think, so, and it's great that we're at sort of the birth point of a
Hmm.
world that is about to change, and we can change with it. So I do think it's a great opportunity in that. It's like,
I do. It's funny because a lot of people ask me like, so do you think things will go back? Do you think it's going to be mostly self tapes now? And I'm like, look, I don't have the answer. I don't know.
mm,
And like you said earlier, I don't really think that there is a substitute. This is a different platform, and it's a different way to have auditions and to, to do what we do. But I, I don't think there's any replacement for being in the room with somebody.
I agree. I agree. I love having people in the room. Part of why I got into this business and why I've been doing it as long as I have is because I like people. I like being in,
Yep.
most people.
Right.
I like I
Yeah.
like being in the room with people almost always. But it's great to have that personal connection and that nuance. But I
Yep.
do think, I mean, auditioning from home has been out there. It's not a new thing. I
Right.
do think that Zoom and Skype and Microsoft Teams and all the other stuff there are other things that are coming up now. Um, I think that all of this has been able to sort of hybrid the two.
Yes.
So, and I think it's only going to evolve more in that direction, so you can have the in-person connection and vibe even if you're not necessarily in person.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I it and I hope so. And ah man, I used to go into castings and stuff. Like if I had a really long day casting ahead, I would like kind of I would always dread it. because I'm an isolator by nature, which you would never think because I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
It's not the first word that comes to mind when I think.
I know. But I left to my own devices, I'll like shut off my phone, I isolate.
Mhm.
And but as soon as I am with others, it's like that is I'm I'm better. I'm just better.
Uh-huh.
And so I miss like whatever space I'm in, whatever's going on with me, going to a casting, going to a studio and like being with people there, giving, and then I'm
Right.
out of myself. I miss that.
Hmm. Well, and voiceover is, you know, arguably, although I don't know anybody who's arguing, the friendliest branch of this business. You know, it's there are times when I'm doing a casting and I actually have to pull people out of the conversation they're having to actually audition for what they're there for. But yeah, you know, you get that connection. It saying, "Hey, let's have a Zoom drink later" is a little different
Yeah.
than "What are
Yeah.
you doing now? Let's grab a bite."
That's
You
good.
know?
Right.
Yeah, it's a different thing. But you know, we're humans. We adapt. You know,
Yeah.
we created what's around it, and what's around us. We create the world that will best accommodate our needs emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, and professionally at the time. And you know, it's in its baby stages, but it's you know, it's going to grow up fast. It'll bring it there, and
Yeah.
also, I think, as people accommodate the world that we live in
Yeah.
as well. So it'll be great when I can see people in 3D again.
Yes.
But yeah, but
But
this is a thing now that we're all trained to do. So
right.
yeah,
And I'll take it. Like I'm
yeah,
always better when I do this. It's better.
mm-hmm, yeah,
You just said that like voiceover is like probably the friendliest part of this business.
yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Did I say probably? I think because it's such. Uh, First of all, it voiceover. I feel is everything that's great about acting without the things that suck about acting. Like there's no like acting is great, but there's no was getting on set at 4 in the morning so you can maybe go shoot a scene at 4 in the afternoon.
Yep.
There's no bunch of people crammed together in a holding space that's outside in the snow.
Yep.
There's no sitting in a chair for 4 hours while somebody paints scars and tattoos on your face. There's no
Yeah.
scratchy costumes. There's no bright lights. There's no brilliant, well, maybe there are a little bit, but brilliant takes that can't be used because of a technical problem.
Right.
Which I
Huh.
guess does happen. I mean, there is still some of that, but not as much because there's not as much to go wrong. Um, you're pretty much always in a nice climate controlled environment. It's yeah,
So
it's
cool.
comfortable. Yep, you have an appointment time. You show up. You work at that time for a set amount of time, and then you're free to go. The it pays probably the highest hourly rate of
Wow.
any other branch in this business, and it's a bulk business. And you do see the same people all the time. You know, nobody's carrying around a suitcase full of clothes for
Right.
voiceover auditions. So I kind of feel like
Yeah.
it's everything that when you're studying acting in college,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that cool part.
That-
You know, where you show up and you hang out, and I don't know, maybe you had a little too much fun the night before, and bring that in with you. And there's so many people with shared interests in it that it's
Hmm.
just I just think it's that camaraderie. You know, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking, the first thing that came to mind, like when you said it, I was like, my instinct was that. My instinct was that. Um, with acting, you go into like a waiting room and there's other actors and you see them and you're thinking, hopefully you're not thinking, but like it can happen. You compare yourself to
Right.
others and they're this looking, they're that looking, maybe they're more right. And I feel like, did I dress right? Did I look right? And I feel like with voiceover, it strips all that away and
Hmm.
you just get to be the essence, which is your voice,
Yeah.
which
And
is
your
like,
personality. I mean,
right.
yeah, your voice kind of just comes along with the package. You know, as everybody's voice is great for something
Yeah.
and not right for more things. But it's the personality that we've called in. I can find 3 other people that sound like you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find 3 other people that are you. which is the thing. And the
Yeah.
thing about auditions in general, even with the on-camera stuff that you were just talking about,
Yeah.
or the stage stuff, if you've been called in auditions, somebody wants you there. Somebody who knows more about the project, who knows more about the needs of the product, who knows, or the
Mm-hmm.
film or whatever it is, knows more about the dynamics happening in the office with the creatives, the people behind it, knows more about the end job, has decided that you are right for it. Somebody wants you there. I mean, it's not going to be necessarily the other actors that want you there, but the person in the room that is making the decision, they want you there. They've decided that you're right for it. It's not in any way, shape, or form a guaranteed booking,
Right.
but it does mean that before you've done anything, somebody knows that you're right for it, personality wise, genetically, which in voiceover is your vocal quality, but in on camera, it's your hair color, it's your eye color, it's
Right.
it's your height, all of this stuff. All of these things somebody else has decided is right. And they may not know you that well, but they know you well enough. And even beyond that, they not only know that you can do the job, they know you're not going to do anything crazy if you book the job. If you're in the room with the person who hired them, you're going to get along with them.
Yeah.
They understand the dynamic. It's, we have total faith in you. We don't know if you can do the job or
Right.
if you're going to get the job or not, but we know that you can do it. So people do come in and they're nervous and they like, I've got to prove myself and I've got to show you everything that you can do. You don't. You really, I mean, do what you're doing and that will accomplish it. Yes, you do have to prove that, but just by being you in that context
Yep.
will prove it. It's not your job to prove you're a great actor. It's your job to not show me that you aren't. And I don't need somebody who can do everything. I need somebody who can do this thing in front
Right.
of me. And if you do it, my assumption and my belief, which is the important assumption and the important belief, is that you can do whatever I call you in for. And then that builds a relationship and relationships grow. In this business, it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Mm.
And an audition is really a way to move that forward. Yeah, it's nerve wracking out in the waiting room. In voiceover, not so much, but it's still there,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, nobody who's judging you is in any position to get you or lose you the job.
It's a very interesting point because I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't. Yeah.
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 Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
How do you love it so much? Like, where did that come from? Because you
Um,
do. And just for those of you, I'm just going to say,
do.
for those of you watching, like, I'm getting like choked up. You're somebody you stay in mind, like being in your class, seeing how you are with others, seeing how giving you are, seeing how with people you are. Like, you genuinely care. You genuinely are who you are. And it's so seen and appreciated.
Well, thank you. It's good to know I fake it that well. No, just kidding.
He's really a son of a bitch, I gotta say.
I'm terrible. Things I say behind people's back. Thank you for saying that. No, I do love it. I really,
No.
I do love it. First of all, I mean, this career found me. Casting is usually something that you find, and if it's not something that you jive with quickly, you tend to not stay in it for very long. I like the human connection, and it really does give me that. And teaching is an extension of that, and it really helps. Plus, I've been doing it a long time, and I'm not saying I'm the best at it. I certainly am not the worst at it. But whether or not I do feel that I am confident in what I do, I feel good about my ability to do it. And when you feel good about what you're doing, when you feel confident in it, it does make you feel better about doing it and having an opportunity to do it. So that helps.
Yeah.
But I love the connection. I love talking people through, helping people get to places faster. And I think what I probably love even more about it is letting people appreciate where they are. So many people come into this with it can always be better. Whatever I'm doing is not good enough. Always strive for the next level. And I get that. But that thinking is not always a productive thinking. If you're in a class, you've already worked to move forward on what you are in whatever way. Maybe it's make another contact, maybe it's
Yep.
learn another skill, whatever it is. You've taken the step to step forward. That is pushing yourself to do better. Now, if you're in the room and you're thinking about what you're not doing, you've sort of reversed it. Growth
Very true.
happens when you're operating at your best, when you're doing what you can do and you can appreciate that. And it's not your ability to never make a mistake. For some, I see a lot of people who really beat themselves up when they stumble on a word. They're gonna. You're gonna. There's no
Right.
human being that, Meryl Streep messes up stuff once in a while. You don't see it because it's somebody else's job to make sure you don't see it. Um,
True.
well,
So true.
you're gonna mess up. It's not your job, especially as an actor, to never have problems. It's your job to have problems in a way that I don't think they're going to become my problem or the
Mm-hmm.
producer's problem. When you stumble, take a breath. Go, I need to know that you can have a problem like a pro. That you're comfortable with messing up a word and how to deal with it. That you're not going to beat yourself up over it. That if you make a choice that somebody wants to redirect, that you're okay with that. Because this is about having a relationship. Acting is a physics term. Physics had it first. The job got it later. And it literally means to do something that has an effect on something else. Everything you do matters. So, and what it does is it builds a relationship, and the relationship gets you the auditions. If your relationship is with the future self that exists only in your brain that you think is better, well, then you're cutting into the external relationship with the other person. I don't need to know you're never going to have a problem. There's nobody that,
Right.
I need to know that you're going to have a problem in a way that still furthers this relationship.
Yep.
And to do that, people, I feel, really need to appreciate their ability as they are, which we're taught to not appreciate,
Mm,
you know?
right. Right.
Yeah. So I really enjoy working
Mm,
with people and helping that along when I can.
yep.
Yeah.
That's I yeah, that's I feel like that is a maybe it's just a me thing, but I feel like it's a common thing in actors and creative people that they're I can be so hard on myself and blah, blah, and it's like that never serves me. It
Mm-hmm.
never serves me. It's anytime I'm like I should be doing this. I need to be doing this. I further cannot do any of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly like what you said, like appreciating where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. Because when you're in a room with another person, the important thing is what comes out of that
Yeah.
relationship. Now, before an audition, do whatever you want to do. I mean, whatever research you need to do. My
Right.
advice, do as much as you need to, but no more. There is a difference between information and understanding.
Mm,
And I feel do what you need, which sometimes is really not a lot, but sometimes it is. Do what you need to get the information that you need to say, okay, I'm going to be this me. And I'm going to say this stuff as this me. Um, the more there's this sort of, I don't want to call it an illusion. It's a little bit of a myth. But once you get to that point where you have understanding of it, and you still start piling more and more and more information, things that are not necessary, more times than not, people are just coming in and they're trying to spin too many plates.
yep.
Because I'm going to ask you for stuff, which is going to be more information on top of that. So,
Right.
get to a point where you're comfortable being you and you can enable the relationship with the person who's going to ask you to do another version of it. And to do that, I need you to be confident. I need you to know that you can do the job. So, it's nice to help, I think, get people into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a friend yesterday. We hung out on Zoom and he was talking about how like I was like, how are you doing? Like health wise, how have you been eating? And he
Mhm.
was saying he's been exercising but he was talking about how he'll set his alarm at 8, but he may just lay there till 11. So things that he wants to change.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I get that. But I told him a story and this has stuck with me forever. There's a woman that is she's such a influence. She was like a spiritual mentor to me. And one day she said that she kept waiting until the day that she was going to live her life, until she was this, until she got to this, until this. And it was always this, 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 this. And then it hit her one day. what if this is the best it's ever going to get? This is the best it's ever going to get. And when she looked at it like that, she started living that this was the best it was ever going to get. And then things changed.
Yep.
And that, I think that's amazing. I think that's so amazing.
It's like, what's the phrase? Live every day like it's your last, because one day you'll be right.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's you know, fear has a purpose, and it's going to happen. I mean, you know, but when we're afraid of concepts, and a lot of this is how we're trained, a lot of this is how we grew up. Really, we're taught, you know, any mistake comes with grave consequences. And it really doesn't. You know, it comes with some direction or a do it again or something like that. And sometimes there are consequences, but not, we're taught that always, if you do something wrong, we're searching for, if it's a voiceover read or, you know, an audition, we're searching for the magic syllable, the one word that we're going to say that separates you from anybody. And it's just not there. It's just not there. It's just not a thing. The way that you might hit something that somebody latches onto, but if we knew what that was, we would tell you. We just want you to be you in the context, and the magic is going to come from that. It's not that you hit the word me in a way that other people didn't. It's who you are when you're hitting that word.
Yep.
Yeah. So just do what you're doing when you're doing it, and appreciate your value as a human. One of the things I try to tell actors that are newer to the business, people always hear, you know, make it yours, make it yours, make it yours. I don't need you to make it yours. It's going to be you. It's going to be yours because you're you. I need you to make it mine as you, because that's going to be the uniqueness.
Yep.
You know, and if I want a different syllable, I'll tell you. But we'll walk out of an audition and you'll be like, oh, I should have said that differently. I should have said that, because everything in your head is always perfect.
Always.
Yeah. So we assume that that's what we should have done, and that would have made the difference. And even if you book the job, until you actually get the call saying you booked it, you're still going to be beating yourself up. And
of course.
You did a terrible job. Yeah. And it's because we're trained to look for this magic. There's something different. There's something that's going to set you apart.
I know.
Yep. And in my experience, you know, the thing that's going to set you apart. Sorry, let me know. There was just light, so let me know. If it's too dark.
You're good. There is a little shadow on your face in case you care. I still see you and you look great, but in case you care.
Okay. I see, like, I have like the dark over my eyes, which is like always the evil thing.
That's what.
Like the love scene is always like up here. The love scene is always the little bit brighter. Okay. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to wire into my...
Yeah.
That's what they always have. So, you know, I'll try to find out. We'll, you know, we'll go, you know, it's like...
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Love. Like... Hate. Love. Hate.
I love you.
That's why paned windows, they're so good. They can give you any lighting that you want.
So cool.
Mm.
Can I ask you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I'm going to say this. I was just about to go. Now I ask you. Do you know what that is?
No, what?
Because I do it all the time and nobody ever responds. And I'm like, all right, it's my cousin Vinny, Marissa Tomei. She's like, now I ask you, would you come fuck with the son of a bitch who shot you was wearing? You know, but every time I say now I ask you, nobody remembers that.
I love that movie, and I don't. Yeah, I actually make like South Park movie references, and people in class.
My boyfriend would love that.
Yeah. I remember it won an Oscar, people.
So funny, man.
Mm.
All right, so if I okay. I don't want to say that you seem evolved, right? But you seem to have a... He's in the light, people. He's in the light.
Wait, what are you saying? Where is this going? Is this going to a bad place?
But really, I have this thing where I can see it clearly for other people. So when I'm teaching or whatever, I get it, but within myself, it's a lot more difficult to give myself that same advice. And you have this way of, like I said earlier, saying it so simply and in such an
Thank you.
inspiring, loving, gentle way. Are you able to do that with yourself? And were you always, or did you have to get to this place?
That's actually a really, really good question. Hold on, I'm turning this light back
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on.
There you go.
Well, do you remember Dr. Ruth Westheimer?
Yes.
Yeah, she was like the renowned like sex
Yes.
therapist, had a talk show. Somebody in an interview asked her once, they said, if we talk to your husband, what would he say about you? And she said, he would say I'm all talk. uh,
Ah,
I mean, I don't, I don't feel that, I'm all talk. I do. I try to live my life the way I tell other people that they should
right.
live their life. But, I am a human being with faults and flaws. And part of it's so much easier to tell other people because you're not getting their psyche. You're not getting their background.
Right.
You're not getting this test they failed in 6th grade that they never quite got over.
Right. There's not all this attachment to all that mishigas. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just simple to
Yep,
somebody
you
else.
know what somebody does,
Right.
and you can appreciate how great it is because also, or how it can improve, because A, you're getting their personality in the relevant context, which is the script,
Yeah.
but B, you're not comparing it to the same things they're comparing it to.
Right.
You're appreciating what they're doing with a script, going, okay, that was great, or we need to tweak this. They're in there, and not always, by all means, they're in there comparing it to, but this is how it was in my head. This is how it was when I was in my seat. This is how it was when I thought, this doesn't feel like that performance that I gave such and such. And that's a human thing. It's not about training somebody to not do that. You
Yeah.
can't. It's like I tell people, the voices are real.
They
They're
are
gonna be there.
real.
They're going to tell you, but they're also wrong, and they're also largely irrelevant. So, but you can't block them out. So you just have to live with it. As far as seeing myself, yeah, I mean, I do my best to live like that, but I've got my baggage and I've got my version
Yeah.
of it, and I will talk to somebody like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?"
Right.
Things that it's
Right.
it's a goal to strive for. The advantage is when I tell other people, I'm telling them because I'm going to be on the receiving end of what they do.
Right.
Whereas when you're alone with yourself, I do, yeah, I try to live like that.
Yeah.
You can't be guaranteed to achieve it all the time. You just have to learn
Yeah.
to be okay with the fact that you're not going to, and how little of a difference it actually makes, if any.
It's well put.
Thank you. Thanks.
Those-
I'm glad you filmed it, because that's gone. That's not coming out.
Like you said, the voices are real. Those voices are real. And like, I remember I said to my old therapist who he was like, he like helped save my life in so many ways. And I just remember like going through some of the hardest times of my life and saying like, is this ever going to be gone? Am I ever going to be past this? And I just remember him saying, it's never going to fully be gone, but it's going to be okay. You're not going to, it's not going to affect you the way it does now. It'll exist, but it won't rule, And I think that's the same thing with the voices. I think we can choose to live in them. At least for me, I can choose to live in them and go spinning about what I did or didn't do, or I can go shut the fuck up, quiet down, and like get back to the present. Like you said, get back to the present with the person you're with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The present, involves carrying baggage. You just kind of carry as little, preferably only what fits in the overhead rack.
Yeah.
Don't pack for a longer trip than you're going to take. But, I mean, it happens. And also there is no perfection without imperfection. Practice doesn't make perfect, which is why nobody's ever achieved perfect. Practice makes imperfect okay. So getting to know like that everything you are imperfect, like I said, there is no perfect without imperfect, because how would you know? And there's still really kind of no perfect anyway. So imperfect creates perfect. The imperfections, the stuff we don't like, the stuff we're dealing with, they're part of who, what makes us who we are. And we're humans. We're trained to deal with people that are sometimes having a great day, sometimes having a bad day. we're also trained to assess the room. And even if you're my best friend, maybe today you don't want to hear about it.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, it's about the relationship with other people. So changing that dynamic fundamentally would not work it would turn you into a human that nobody knows.
Mm,
That nobody knows or nobody knows what to do with. And you got to embrace who you are and you got to go 100% into that. And some people won't like it. More people will,
yep.
So
It's a practice.
yeah.
Do you do so you teach VO,
Mhm.
you're a casting director. Do you do VO work yourself? Still ever?
I don't. Well, I've shown up on a couple of shows, but
Okay.
a couple of projects. And I love it. It's fun. It's the best job in the world, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But I don't really pursue it. I'm really a director and a casting director, and it's not really where my heart lies.
I get
I
it.
learned that early on, so no, I'm not really out there pursuing it.
Okay.
Not right now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
You
see
never
what
freaking out.
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to commit to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Welcome to my life.
yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll start to, go for NASCAR or something. I don't know. I can make it a difference.
I
I
love
can do
it.
something different anytime I want. But as of right now, this
Yeah.
moment in time, it's just me and the dogs and the cards, and that's just what is.
I love it.
So yeah,
I love it. And uh, I've, do you have any pets at the moment?
I do. I have an amazing little girl named Tequila.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Tika for short. She's a sweetheart. She's about 40 pounds, mixed breed. She was found on the streets in Newark and ended up in this horrible animal control shelter. The woman
Oh,
who ran it actually was arrested,
thank God.
and so she was taken by a no-kill group of people because they decided she was adoptable, and now I work for her.
You do?
Yeah, I live in her house. No, it's not the
Oh, I
rescue.
thought you meant the other
No, no,
person. I'm
not
like,
those
no,
people.
her.
Not those people.
Oh yeah,
Although I would. I mean, I'm glad they rescued her. But
yeah.
yeah, but no, I work for my dog, and I live in my
I
dog's
get
house.
it.
Yeah, I
It
sleep
is.
in my dog's bed, and yeah, and that's it.
Somebody. I swear, I still think about you because I remember a while back you had another doggy that passed away. I swear, there's been so many times where like I've thought of you and thought of that and wanted to like reach out and see how you're doing about that.
Oh, you should have
I
anytime. But
it's
thank you.
it's one of those things. It's funny. Like I've had loss, but like
Mhm.
everyone's always so scared to go to ask a question.
Right.
But it's like, no, it's actually nice to remember. But you know,
Yeah,
um,
it is. It's bittersweet is really it's a cliche, but it is really the kind of the best way to describe it. Just
yeah,
seeing the face and when the memory pops up on Facebook and
yes.
my phone now for some reason is reminding me. They're like, "Hey, remember this picture?" You say, "Yeah, I took it."
That do
It's
you
still
know
in my
who I
phone.
am?
Yeah. Have we not met? It's still in my phone. That's why. Yes, I remember that. But so, but yeah, but I will say this: if anyone out there is getting a pet, thinking of adopting a pet insurance is I cannot say this enough. I've talked to people who are like it's a scam. I will say my pup, he had kidney failure and he ended up needed dialysis and he lived a very very comfortable life,
Yeah,
happy,
thank God.
healthy for all
Yeah,
intents and purposes,
right.
for about a year and a half after they gave him, and the cost was about $150,000. And I could not have done that if it wasn't for insurance. They were amazing. They actually I would think paid out maybe I shouldn't be saying this. They probably
No,
paid out more for him than I ever paid them in his life to begin with. So I am a
yeah,
huge believer. I mean, if I can give a plug, the company is True Panion.
that was one.
TRU. Yeah, Panion.
I Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, we just did that whole dancing thing. Like, you move that way, I'm gonna. Yeah, and welcome to Zoom, folks. Welcome to Zoom. This is how it is. Uh,
I I am 100% with you. I took in two cats almost 4 years ago.
mhm,
They turned out to be Maine Coons, so they're these big guys and they're brothers.
yeah.
And from the second that they were that I got them, I got all covered insurance, and it's expensive. It's like, you know, $1,200, $1,400 for both of them a year,
hmm
but it covers 90%. And
Yeah,
like, I you never know with pets. Just like
never
kids
know.
get sick, people
hmm
get it, we you don't know.
Yeah.
And
And plus, it's like with vets, with humans, it's like if you're having a problem with your ears,
right,
nose, or throat, there's a doctor for humans for that. If you're having
exactly.
a heart issue, skin issue, just a general cold, there is a doctor for humans for that. With vets, they have to do all animals and know everything.
And know everything.
Yeah, and they get busy, and just like people, I don't know.
Yep.
Sometimes some of them are lazy. Some
Yep.
things were missed in some of
Yep.
Taco's earlier thing that would have probably changed things.
Yep.
So just having that safety net, it's like I hear people say that pet insurance is a scam. I will say that is not my experience.
That is not mine either.
Yeah, it's it's a lifesaver, or at least a life extender.
Yep.
Yeah, I've
Thank
got it for
God.
me. I think
That's what
yeah, for me that's a scam.
right.
Human insurance. Yes,
It was
that's
got it. And
completely
then I
a
was like,
scam, people.
Do you want to know somebody actually, an actor, I won't say his name now, but I'm sure you know him, but he reached out to me because he watches the show and he's
Mhm.
like, he gave me a few names or a bunch of names that he's like, this would be a great person for you to have on. You were one of the names. And I was like, way ahead of you. Like, I already wanted to have him on. But the way he spoke about you, and he did tell me that you um, do work with animals, and
Mhm. Uh,
I wanted to ask you about that. And
well, thank
I want
him for me.
I'll tell you who it is after. I just, in case he doesn't want his name mentioned.
Okay. Right.
But
Let's see.
you do work with animals?
I do. I do. I actually, well, with COVID, it's tricky, but
Yes.
yeah, but I do. I help out as much as I can with rescues. I've not been able to be as active as I have been in the past.
Mhm.
I do have a documentary out there that I was a
I
producer on.
That's yes. So I was gonna
Um,
get there, but let's do that now. That's
yeah.
fantastic. I
Okay.
want
All
to
right.
because I really want
Uh,
to hear about it.
it's on Netflix.
The
uh,
animal people.
The Animal People. Yep. It's on Netflix, and it was something that I had started many years ago when I first
Really?
started getting into certain issues, and it's a First Amendment doc. It's not animal rights is what the people did and ran
Yeah.
into, but it's a First Amendment documentary. It's not an animal documentary
Got
necessarily.
it.
And I started following these people who had been indicted on domestic terrorism charges for protest activity, and it just blew up, and it ended up being this huge precedent-setting case. And it was me and another cameraman named Hal Weiss, who's great. And we were running all over the place and sleeping in parking lots and anarchist
Wow.
communes and
Wow.
kind of running all over. And it got really big. And to be honest, it got bigger than I could handle, especially since I was still an assistant at the time, living on an assistant salary
Wow.
at a talent agency. And fortunately, I had done a rough cut that had gotten into the IFP, got some attention, got a write up, and a producer found it and got in touch with me and started connecting me with some other people like Miko Alan and Ari Solomon, who brought in Casey Suhan and Dennis Henry Henley, who were amazing documentary directors and still are.
Yeah.
And still are. They're not. And I'm done. Animal People I hadn't seen. No, and they were amazing, and they took it over. Like financially and production from that point on. And I was still, very much involved, but it was,
Yeah.
they had taken, and it really started to snowball. And then Georgia Fox got involved, and ultimately Joaquin Phoenix came in and ended up, executive producing the project.
Amazing.
And we hit top 10 on the iTunes.
That's
That was exciting.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a blast, and I'm so grateful to everyone who was involved.
And
Um,
and
yeah,
people, I will put the link with the episode as well, but
thanks.
it's on Netflix and Amazon, correct?
It's definitely on Netflix. Yes,
It
it
may
should
be
be
on
still on. It's on Amazon. I'm sure it's still on iTunes. I haven't looked, but yeah, it's. I'm just really, really proud of it. I'm just amazed and thrilled to have my name on it, and I honestly never thought when it was going to get done. It was just so much.
Wow.
And I will say, for anybody out there who is thinking of making a documentary, like who hasn't done one,
Mm-hmm.
make it about like socks or trees or something like that. So do something. Maybe your first doc should not be a precedent-setting legal case,
Wow.
which involving the definition of the word terrorism and as redefined by the Patriot Act in the
I
it's
cannot even
a,
imagine what that was like.
it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
Wow. And by
Yeah,
the way, so in case I just want to say it again, it's called The Animal People.
the animal.
And
Yeah,
it's definitely on Netflix, possibly still on Amazon, but I will put the link for you guys to be able to watch it. I can't wait
thanks.
to watch it.
Thank you.
That's congrats. Top
Thank
10
you.
on iTunes. That's
It was
amazing.
great. I was. It was an exciting moment when we beat the Schwarzenegger documentary, which
Wow.
was great. That how often am I ever gonna get to be involved in something that does that? But I was
Amazing.
also kind of, because it was his documentary is also a really good documentary.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well,
Amazing.
yeah, but still watch that one. Still watch Schwarzenegger's doc.
That's I will. I'll get there, but yours
Thank you.
is circling way more right now. So way to go, Schwarzenegger, but we got Andy Roth on the
Thanks.
screen.
Yeah, Arnold will be fine, I think, waiting another day. But yeah, but
I
his is good too.
Yeah, his is good too. Good. We'll watch. I will, and I'll talk to you about it another time, but I love animals very, very much, and I've always want to get more involved than I've been able to. I find that I kind of can't. I am so affected by animals that
Yeah.
I start to do something, and like even the like my boyfriend laughs at me because I'll like see an animal,
Uh-huh.
and like we were camping and this chipmunk is like hanging, he's doing his thing or she's doing her
Mhm.
thing, and I'm like, it was adorable and beautiful. And then I just went to this whole place of like, but we're invading their space and now people are littering. And like the thought of animals, I just
Mhm.
immediately go to what's not fair for them. And I get so affected. So I'll
Yeah.
talk to you about that. I would love to be able to be more involved and active. And I struggle with that.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate that
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to help though without necessarily being in the front lines. I have a tough time with you
You
know
do.
with the front lines, and yeah, and see, I mean, it's like they're just they're they're just so out there. I'm not going to say they're all love all the time, but they're not.
No.
But they are all pure emotion. They're if they if there's fear, you know it. If there's anger, you know it. If
Yep.
there's love, you know it. So and they're no more perfect than humans are,
No.
but there is just that connection, and yeah, we did invade their space. It's
It breaks my I can't. It breaks my
yeah,
heart.
yeah, we did. It's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are like, well, oh, we have this, 'cause I out in Jersey, the house is in the woods. I'm buying, have a heart traps that are, and some of these things are like, like the opening scene of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, where the guy wakes up and the egg cracks and it rolls down a thing. And, it's like some of these things are, like some sort, I don't know who comes up with this stuff. But, and my mice are smart. They're starting to figure out how to get out of this stuff. And it's
Wow.
like, I couldn't even figure out how to do that. So I'm getting more complicated, have a heart traps. But it's like somebody put a house in their space.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and
I know.
to them it's like, oh, it's another thing here and another place to go, and there's
Right.
yeah,
Even when there's
or
like even when there's an animal
mhm,
and they're like that, that animal's an a-hole, they're like they
mhm,
bit people and stuff. And I like feel so bad for the animal that was biting people because I'm
mhm,
like, what did they go through that and maybe
right,
it's temperament. Look, there are people that are psychopaths in the world and maybe it had nothing to do with.
mhm,
But for the most part, we are the way we are because of things we've been through, I think, for
mhm,
most
yeah,
people. So same thing with animals.
yeah,
So
and
anyway, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and a bite is like, it's not a full-on attack. It's like humans
Right.
bite. We just do it in a sense of we snap at somebody for no reason.
Yep.
We have a bad attitude. That's a bite. We'll talk about somebody behind their back.
Yep.
That's a
That's a
bite. And yeah, an attack is an attack. It's a
yes.
different thing, and even that doesn't necessarily mean evil. I
Right.
mean, we do it on a whole huge military scale. To other places, but not that I'm anti-military.
Yeah. That's
I'm not, but I mean, and thank everybody for their service, and I really appreciate it. But that
yes.
is sort of what they're there for, is
Yeah.
to accommodate and protect against that human impulse of attack. But
Exactly.
there's nothing, we just think kind of the human version is a better version of it, which yeah, I'm not really saying, it's like, my dog will go out and she'll mark her territory, and people will laugh at that. It's like, yeah, but that's going to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that dump with all of the plastics that are going to sit there forever, that's not going to go away. That's not part of nature. And it's like, how is
Yep.
that different? We mark our territory with a fence.
So true.
Yeah, it's like, they're the same. It's just, it's
Mm.
not necessarily, I don't even see it necessarily even as a simpler version of it. It's just sort of either a purer version of it or a version of it that I am more open to receiving. So it's one of those two things.
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Hard
that.
answers.
I like that.
Yeah.
I good.
But there are things. Oh, sorry. But there are
Oh
things
no.
that you can do. Going back to it, there are things you
Yeah.
can do without being on the front line. There is administrative stuff. There is fundraiser stuff. There is,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah,
I'll talk to you about it. I
yeah.
yeah. We'll talk more about it. When is your next class that's being offered?
My next class is January 5th, I believe it starts. It's at one-on-one.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I have a few others coming up. I can check the calendar, but
Yeah.
yeah, Google knows me.
Yeah.
Google finds me. Google knows me.
um, I'm gonna. Are you over at AC also doing classes still?
I haven't been able to be there lately.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'd love to.
Yeah.
They're great over there, and
Yeah.
I love them dearly.
Yeah.
I've just been directing a series for the past, year, so it's
Just the
been
past year.
it's been hard to do too much. But yeah,
Yeah.
52 episodes.
That's
But
Jesus.
yeah, it's a lot. But
Wait,
it
did
is
we not
great.
even talk about this?
I've said about what I'm allowed to say.
Got it.
It's animated. It's
And you're
animated. It's
directing it?
great. I love it. It has an amazing cast. Yeah, I'm the voice director on it. It has an amazing cast. It's a blast. I'm a little glad that it's over, but I'm really sad that it's over.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
So, but hopefully we'll have a season two, and it remains to be seen. But I'll talk more about it
I was gonna say, yeah, you let us
yeah,
know.
when I'm
And
actually
we'll
allowed. Yeah.
yes, that's
Yeah.
well, congratulations. I
Thank
know I
you.
can't wait to hear. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh, awesome. And so I want to ask you, there's this a portion of my show that is
Mhm.
called The Feather in Your Cap.
Mm,
And by feather in your cap, I mean maybe an achievement that you've had
mm,
or a success, maybe something that you've learned that has served you in your life or that
mhm,
may serve you.
mhm.
I
Well,
wanted to see if you
I've stayed alive.
yeah. That's a feat, man. That's a
That's
feat.
a thing.
That is a
Wow.
thing.
As far as well, I mean, my career, the documentary, I'm super proud to be involved. Um, the series, I'm trying to think of something that's
You can offer that maybe like
yeah.
something that has served you that could maybe serve others that are listening or watching, or
Mm-hmm. Um,
you already have shared like so much.
yeah, I think I've talked, and there's certain things that I feel are right for me and that have served me really well.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I talk about them, it might not serve other. Does that make sense? They're
I
just
do.
philosophies, things that I do, things that I believe in, um, that other people don't, and
And
so yeah.
eh, whatever, and it doesn't have to serve everybody, but I'm curious about you and whatever you're comfortable sharing or whatever you feel like.
Um,
You're
I
like
will.
nothing.
Yeah, I will say actually there is a couple things now that I think about it.
Please.
Uh, one, I taught myself another language.
Really?
Yeah, I taught myself French. I was really good at it. I've gotten a little rusty since then.
Wow.
Yeah, but I realized because I took French in high school and I was
Hmm.
like pretty much everything in high school. I was just not good at it. Lunch, I was good at lunch. I was good at yeah, but
I was banging at lunch.
I was amazing. I could yeah, but that was my major in college. I think from that, um, but I wasn't good at it, and I didn't realize why. I think until later, because the structure of how it was being taught, while it works great for some people, didn't work well for me. It was almost like forget you've ever spoken a language, and now conjugate this verb, and now do this, and at a certain point, I was like, I didn't learn English like that, you know, um, and
Exactly
I
right.
kind of thought to myself, and by kind of I did. So I said to myself, I said, self, um, don't think of it as like it's like a whole other science. I'm still saying the same stuff. Every human being says the same stuff. They just make different noises to express it, and words are basically noises that carry a commonly agreed upon meaning in your locality.
Yep.
Yeah, if nobody understands what you're saying, then it doesn't matter what you're saying or how important it is. If somebody doesn't understand the noise you're making. So I just saw it as a way of just expanding my vocabulary. Now it's like thanks, thank you, and merci. You're welcome. Bien. And I just started studying it and expanded my vocabulary in that way, and that was great. Just knowing something just to know it, to have the ability to do it was great. I also learned to fix things, not everything, and there's certainly certain things that you don't want me to try to fix for you. But and I try to be pretty realistic about what that is. But in a whole life of looking at stuff, going, I bet I could fix that. I'm just like, well, I'm gonna do it. I got a hardware store down the street. I know how to use tools. I grew up in a family that was good at that stuff. My grandfather was a plumber,
Ah.
and so I learned to, up to a point. Again, I'm not crazy about it, but I actually I'm a very good plumber. I learned to yeah,
Wow.
I learned to fix things and do stuff on my own, and it was empowering. To just know something. It didn't mean I'm not lazy. It's not, there are still times that I will just pay somebody to do it just because the alarm went off at 8, but I would like to lie in bed until 11 o'clock in the morning.
100%.
Yeah, and so, but
Human.
yeah, but it was that just something to do for me. That's no risk. That if I decided I didn't want to do it, I could just stop doing it, and nobody was going to know the difference. I thought that was really nice. Something for me.
Those are two really, really empowering things. I
Merci.
can, merci. French is not mine. I,
Fromage.
it's so funny. Like, first of all, my boyfriend and I like have our own language because literally I just started making noises and I'm like, Mashkalula. And like, I swear to God, we have like a whole vocabulary and we know exactly what we mean by going, Nashka utatita, And I'm not even kidding. We do this all day long.
Well, that's how every other language started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my mother was from Argentina and her first language was Spanish, but she didn't teach us. So I just like high school, I just knew high school Spanish. And then I moved to Spain. I studied abroad in Spain in a very small city, and nobody spoke English. I lived with a woman who did not speak. She only knew hello. And so I didn't learn through a textbook. I learned through experiencing it.
Right. Yeah.
And speaking the way people do. And that's how I learned.
Yep. And learning what you need to know first, what you're going to use the most first.
Yep.
Yeah. And, it's like, do I really need to think of a word as a conjugation? And go through a scientific process about what the right form is.
Right.
And, sometimes I'm wrong. Every once in a while, there's a tourist, or something. I mean, not lately.
Yes.
But a tourist, and I'll go up. I'll be like, pardon, like, oh, ce n'est pas loin, and I'll talk, but I'm not afraid of messing it up.
That's everything.
I've spoken to people who English is their second language, and they may not say everything perfectly. I don't care.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yep, language is about being understood.
It's such an amazing feeling for those of you that like I've lost so much of it, but I remember like one night going out in Spain and like having a couple of drinks and then only speaking Spanish and having a whole conversation. It was like these noises are coming out of my mouth and they're being understood. It was amazing. It's amazing. Andy, you're so awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And you'll have to come on again, especially when you have more update on the show. And
I'd love to.
Tell people, I'll put it with the episode, but tell people where they can find you, keep up with you. I know we don't do too much social media, which thank God I do, but it's the worst.
Yeah, I should. And I tell people, when I started coming up in this business, it wasn't a thing. We had like phones and they were stuck to walls and,
Yes.
And when I was a kid, if,
the good old days.
Yeah. If you didn't pick up the call, you didn't know who was calling,
Exactly.
Yeah. Now it's different. They know that you're there and they're picking up. So it was a little bit of a different thing. I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. I'm not that active. I should be. Anybody who's coming up in the business now certainly needs to be, so it's definitely a follow my advice, not my example kind of thing.
Yeah.
I am on Facebook, I am out there, but, but I mean, if people want to learn about classes again, Google is my best friend. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Knows everything about me.
I think, look at this guy. This is Charles Xavier.
Professor X.
And then Storm is sleeping somewhere. They're good guys.
I love it. Your cats after X-Men.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just fit. It just fit. They were so them.
I love it.
I will be taking your next class, and I believe my boyfriend will too, because
awesome.
Not only do I want to learn from you, but just seriously, anybody that is not familiar with being in class with Andy, or if you haven't heard about him, I can't imagine it, especially if you're anywhere in New York. But it's such a wonderful experience. It is not just to learn about voice, but to move forward as a human. Look up his classes on Google if you haven't already. I certainly will be. I'm signing up for your next class for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Pressure again.
Don't shit the bed, man. Don't shit the bed.
Maybe you should it's something to do, show up, you read some stuff, you'll talk about some stuff.
You'll do some funny voices, good stuff,
Some voices, we'll set, expectation. Then people will walk out, wow, that was so much more than just doing stuff. But now it's like, I don't know.
There's a reason why people have reached out to me to have you on as a guest. People want to hear more from you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. I really appreciate it.
I truly mean it. And guys, thank you for tuning in. Truly, I love getting to be with you guys. I love being connected, um, especially with my guest, Andy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And support us. You can keep up with Andy. I'll put his info and definitely the Animal People. And it's on Netflix. You'll get the link with the show. And guys, like, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff so we can keep this going, keep us all connected. And we love you and thank you. And Andy, thank you so much. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
you
much.
so, so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, and I really appreciate you having me on. So
Thanks. Such an honor. Thank you so much.
thanks.